So this is kind of your digital tour of the library. Now, our website, the link is on your library cards. It's Mykpl.info or Mykpl.info. It's always available, and we try to highlight a variety of different things on our website, particularly our events. For example, today's June 2nd. This is the introduction to MyKPL at Southwest Library, what you're here for right now. But we also have Senior Stitch Society taking place at the Uptown Library. We have In Stitches taking place on tomorrow from 6 to 8 p.m. That is our sewing group that meets once a month, and they're doing upcycled unpaper towels. I have no idea what that means, but I'm sure Michaela or Amy know exactly what that program is. That's probably why they're asking for paper towel holders for the past few months. We do plan all of our programs months in advance. So these programs we had planned in like January. For the summer, the fall, we're planning for the fall programs now. So we plan ahead, and we like advertising, what's going on each week. This rotates throughout the day, and we have a banner on the website that you can click through to see, what things we are really celebrating right now and really wanting to highlight. When you scroll down on the website, you will get more information of like new things throughout the library, different blog posts that have gone up. In April, we had some writing contests going on. And so we had a fiction writing contest and a poetry contest. And so our last blog posts are the winners of those contests, including ways to explore the library, what author talks we're having, and different resources. But this wouldn't be much a tour if we stayed on the homepage. So let's go through some of these tabs here. We'll start with the MyKPL tab. This tab is all about things that are about you and what you're looking for. So I know all of you have library cards, but there's this getting a card section that is all about what do you need to get a card. Let's click on that. As you all know, getting a library card is perfectly free for everybody. There's no cost affiliated with it. You just need to have some kind of ID with you that has your current address on it, or a photo ID and something else that has your current address.
Is it for just people in the city of Kenosha or Kenosha County?
So we can issue library cards to anyone within the 4 counties I mentioned, but the library card you get issued will be for the municipality that you live in. So regardless of where you get your library card from, the tax money that is associated with going to the library goes back to the municipality that you're from. So in theory, we can give Racine residents a library card, but it's really still a Racine card, even if it says, Kenosha on the card itself. Does that make sense? For non-residents, which is basically out of state as well as Milwaukee. Milwaukee's a little weird, but that's okay. We still love Milwaukee. There is an out-of-state card that you would have to pay for. That's a $50 monthly fee, or not monthly, yearly. Monthly would be a bit ridiculous, but yearly. But for the rest of the state, as long as you have a library card from your library, say someone in, let me think, Eau Claire. They have an Eau Claire library card. We can get them a reciprocal card that is equivalent to that, but for Kenosha. The only place we don't do that with is Milwaukee. So Milwaukee's a little funky, but that's okay. We still love Milwaukee. I still know a lot about Milwaukee. It's just they work a little differently than everyone else. Also in the MyKPL, every 2 years you do have to resubmit information or come talk to us about the information on your card, but you can do that completely remotely by filling out this form online. and then we will renew your card for you. And that's every 2 years that happens. And there's a using the library section that has all the top questions we generally have. So for example, how many holds can you place? You can place as many physical materials as you want on hold, but if you are looking for digital books, it's only 10 at a time for digital. I'll talk about some of the more digital stuff a bit later today as well. So we also have these sections. I'm looking for books in Spanish, bestsellers, ebooks, audiobooks, events, and things like this Favorite Authors Club. How many of you have heard of the Favorite Authors Club? Ooh, two of four. Okay, so Favorite Authors Club. So what it is a club that basically you put in your library card number and your PIN, and you can automatically, let me go in order. Let's put in our library card number and PIN. If I typed it in correctly, which I did. So we get this giant list of authors. So you basically, if let's say Barbara Kingsolver, we check mark it, it means every book that she publishes, you will be placed on the holds list automatically for all of their new books. If you're wondering why King or Patterson or Kristen Hanna always have long wait lists, here it is. Because you are automatically placed on hold. The assumption is you like their books and you want to read more of them. So whenever they publish it, you're automatically placed on hold. You don't have to go seek it out. You'll just get a hold notice once it's available. That's Favorite Authors Club.
There are some authors though that you can't get.
Correct. That is correct. They're not every single author that is out there is on that list. It's those really popular authors that are regularly publishing that we place on there.
What format, like when you put a hold on in the Favorite Authors Club?
I believe you can do regular print or large print.
Okay, so not like any of the
Yep.
digital ones. That wouldn't be the same thing.
Correct.
And then if a book hasn't been, like I'm on a list for a book that just came out, but of course I didn't know about Favorite Authors Club till a few days later after that. Too bad. So as soon as you know it's going to be published, like I went on the list before the release date, I should say, it was published. Does it, as soon as you become aware of it, is that when you go on?
So as long as you're on this list, it'll once we buy a copy basically,
Oh, okay.
or someone in the system. Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
We do pre-order books,
Right.
but until that is being processed, like by us or another library in our 4-county system,
Sure.
it's not going to show up on like anyone's holds list because we haven't processed it yet.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we have to go through the process of purchasing or pre-ordering it, and also processing that pre-order before it actually would show up on someone's hold list.
Gotcha.
So some things you might not see, even though you've heard about it, it just hasn't been processed by us yet.
Thank you.
But yes, we do order books all throughout the year, and including ordering things before they are released. Sometimes, and I can't show you this, sorry, our collections room, they have like 4 whole carts of things that haven't been released yet, and we can't actually even show them to anybody until it's release day. So one of the many privileges of working at the library is I can kind of look at that and be like, oh, that's coming, awesome, that's cool, can't read it yet, but it's there. So that's the My KPL tab for now. Next to that is events. We kind of already talked about events, but you can always check our events calendar for anything that you're looking for. We also even highlight the Kenosha Harbor Market. We typically have the bookmobile at the Harbor Market. Lincoln Park Live we also visit. And we did start the Southport Literary Fair at this location. I don't know if we're doing it at this location for next year or if it's going to be at a different location because it got too big. So I'm not sure about what that's looking like for this year, but we work with different public bookstores in the area as well as authors in the area as well to host the Southport Literary Fair. Then go to services. So I mentioned we have our meeting rooms that are available for us, but we also have virtual meeting rooms. So if any of you wanted like a Zoom to use and you don't want to make your own Zoom account, or you don't have enough time in your personal Zoom account because they limit you to like 1 hour, you can book a Zoom room through us to have as many people, well, to a point as many people. If you're getting like 500 people, I don't think we'll be able to have capacity for 500. But if you wanted your own room for 4 hours with a group of people, say 30, 40 people, you could book a room virtually with us. We also have specific information on printing from home, or printing in our building, making print scans. There's many ways to print here. People ask me how they want to, if they want to print, and I'm like, so how? We can do it from your phone, your tablet, your email, from a computer's in-house, from your computer. There's some method of printing that will work for you. And I'm oftentimes going through multiple options depending on what's working that day. We also have more information on our scan stations as well. So we're looking at, once our page loads, but this is that information about the archival grade scanner that we have, as well as the fast photo scanner. I'm going to see if I can refresh this page. There we go. So it's about what type of scanning we can do. All of our scanning services, so like scan to email, scan to USB, there is no charge for that at all. There's only a charge if you physically get a new piece of paper, or you're sending a fax. But yes, our information about the microfilm scanners are here, as well as some research request information. We can help with research requests, which is why I'm very happy that some of you get the dates before asking for some things, because the date is very important. And I'll talk about a little bit more about that once we get to some of our digital resources as well, and why the date is important. But there's also the information including exactly the products we have for our specialty photo scanners and exactly what they can cover. I forgot to mention that film strips is part of that as well. We're able to scan film strips too. Another part of our services, we have notary publics at the library as well. We do have them available by appointment, but you can walk in. It's just there's no guarantee that a notary is available for you if you do a walk-in. So we highly recommend that you set an appointment with us, either by calling our library or by going through online. We have notaries at Northside, Southwest, and Uptown Library right now that you can set appointments with. We also have technology appointments. So some of you use this service, but these are 45-minute one-on-one appointments for a variety of technology things. A lot of it is including basics. You never used the computer before, looking at, if something is a potential scam or not. It's a wide variety of topics that we can help cover through our technology appointments. And these are available at each of our library branches, but you can walk in and ask staff at the service desk for help, just to see if, we might be able to help you with it pretty quickly. All of our staff can help to a degree, but our one-on-one appointments, you're getting time for 45 minutes. It's a one-on-one to help you out there. So it's kind of a similar deal. You can always walk in, but you can also set an appointment if you really want that dedicated one-on-one time with someone to help you learn your device or how to use a device. So we're going to go into this Learn and Explore tab briefly, because this is where some of our digital resources lie. For example, there's this Money Smarts Free Financial Learning. This is a resource that helps with learning how to manage finances at different stages in life. It does require, this one is a Kenosha Library Card specific one. So I'm sorry for our Scene patron. I don't think you can access this resource. But it you can put in different goals that you have financially. And this resource can help guide you through different priorities that you may have, as well as having educational information, for example, investing for retirement, looking through finances and just learning in general about financing. Okay, so now I do want to mention and talk about the research that we have available, since we have talked about the newspapers a little bit today. So we have different levels of access to different resources. For example, we do have access to what is published on the Kenosha News' website within the last 2.5-ish years, I believe. However, it is only the text of what is published on their website, which doesn't always match what gets published in the newspaper, at least per day. I'm not going to be able to show you an example right now, but basically, they often publish things on the website before it goes in the newspaper for that. So like something that's published on the website on Friday may show up in the physical newspaper on Monday. So they have different dates. But we have access to what is published on the website on a daily basis. So for example, yesterday was Sunday, June 1st. And so all of the articles that were published on the Kenosha News website are available through this resource. So, but it is text only, so you're not going to get pictures. But you will get the text of the article. It's going to be helpful because if you don't have a Kenosha News online subscription, you're going to get paywalled from the Kenosha News' website. But this is a way to still read articles or search for articles from the Kenosha News without using their website. It is free to you with your Kenosha library card.
Where is that again?
That is through, if you go into Books and More and Research, it's going to be Kenosha News Web Edition. We do have an investment resource for Value Line. But what I also wanted to point out through this research tab is we have this genealogy and local history section. And so Kenosha News Web Edition is still featured here, but we also have access to Ancestry Library Edition. I think Racine also has access to Ancestry Library Edition. I think, not 100% on that. Okay.
I don't know, but I don't go on their website as much as I go on yours, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And I can check that after the program time. But we do have access to this resource for any genealogy research that you were looking to do. But here's where the dates come in. So we have a variety of different resources that get access to historical Kenosha News and current Kenosha News. The issue is they have different date ranges, all of them. In short, the major gaps that exist are from 2000 to 2005, and I believe from 1920 to 1945. Why those particular gaps exist, I do not know. But different resources access different things. If you're looking for Kenosha News historically, I'd recommend asking a staff member for some assistance on what thing you can access to access that date range. And if we can avoid looking at the microfilm, we will. But some things you can only access in our microfilm. 2000-2005 date range, microfilm only. But everything else, the things that are covered, we'll probably want to check the online resources first. The reason is you cannot search for a particular word in the microfilm. You actually have to reel through the whole thing to try to find your date. And if you don't know the date, we may be looking through weeks of microfilm, which is where finding a specific date is very helpful for us. If you have a specific date, we can go to that particular paper, that particular day, very easily, and just look through that one day of the newspaper to try to find the article you're looking for. So if you do your look through Ancestry beforehand, or you ask the Historical Society or the Registrar's Office, you're looking for something there. If you get a date or even a date range, massively helpful if you eventually come and talk to us about what you're looking for. But all of our staff, particularly at this location, because we have the microfilm available, can help you find historical newspapers and help identify what you're going to need to do or where you're going to need to look for that specific article. So I did want to point that out as well as we're looking at the website. Now, again, in Books and More, there's two more areas I want to highlight before I just open up to questions. Three more areas, actually. So still in the Books and More, there's this Gadget Tools and More page for our library of things. So this is where you're going to want to look if you're looking for library of things for kids as well as for adults. We are in the works of continually updating this page, but for example, if you click on this baking and cooking, you're going to get to a search that's already been limited to the baking and cooking materials available. So like our sushi making kit, our solar cooker, our air fryer, those are all being currently used. But they appear here. We also have a pasta maker and an Instant Pot, a sous vide kit, a wok set, and all of our cake pans also show up through this search as well. If we go to the Gadget Tools and More, and then we click on, let's say, our STEM kits, so science, technology, engineering, and math, this will automatically bring up a search for anything that's in that kids library of things that's related to STEM or science, that's going to show what is available in that collection. The other thing I wanted to show is in this recommended read section, you can click on a variety of these areas to get different titles, but particularly, and I like using this all the time, you can immediately click on award winners, and you can see what books that have won awards are available, what material have won awards. You can also search specifically for those rewards themselves. So if I'm looking for like the Lambda Literary Award, I can find books that are either in the collection, or you can immediately be set to suggest that item to purchase for us from this awards list. So even if we haven't gotten it, you can click on Suggest for Purchase, and it'll have you fill in a suggestion form for that item. So that's useful for even things that we don't own. You can look through those awards, and if we don't own it, you can put in a suggestion, and we'll more than likely consider purchasing it. The other thing, for those of you that are interested in digital, we do have ebooks and audiobooks that are available through the library. Usually it's through Overdrive as the main user, but that is also tied to the Libby app. That if you use ebooks and audio, that's for your smart device that you can listen to audiobooks, ebooks, and more from. But when you click on this, it brings you to Overdrive. Now, I'm already signed in, but this is something that the whole state has access to. We do purchase material that goes to you first. It works very similarly to getting books from our physical library. So if you're in Janesville, for example, and you have a Janesville card, when you place a hold, Janesville material prioritizes you first. If you're Kenosha residents with a Kenosha card, things that we buy prioritize you first. Same thing with Overdrive. The things that we buy prioritize your card first. Same with Racine. Things that Racine Public buys prioritizes you first. And we also put on display things that are available now to read, because just like physical books in the library, there are wait lists for these books as well. So we try to, highlight and showcase things that are available now at the front of this display. Interesting enough, there are also magazines that have no wait period on them, and you can also place it on recurring checkout for you. So you can, every time there's a new edition, you automatically check it out in your library and can access it as soon as that is available there. Now, I'm going to go back to the main page in the last 5 minutes here. Any questions about the website, the physical buildings, anything about the library? Yes, we'll get you started with Ancestry. I'm going to go through genealogy and local history. One of the things we do like doing, because we like thinking of ourselves as an educational institute, is I would probably start off with showing you this learning center on Ancestry, because they have built-in guides to help you use Ancestry on your own as well. And so even if we don't have like 100% experience, like we're not experts in genealogy here, we'll at least get you started on using these resources and common search things, like bringing you to here and kind of being like, oh, what are these search tips that are here? And you'll get through some of the basic search tips that are there and using Ancestry already in the resource. So at minimum, we'd bring you to help you get started with using any of these. Yeah, and sometimes, and our librarians individually all make that call on what a genre is, along with the publisher, along with where everything goes. So there's quite a few factors we use, but say we search for this book, we'll click on the other misses, and we look at availability by location. So keep in mind that other libraries in our system don't necessarily categorize it. So you're seeing this fiction KUB for like Brigham and Darien and Edgerton. But when you look at Kenosha, you're going to see it says adult suspense book collection. So that's going to be in the suspense and thriller area of the library. So yes, it does tell you where they are. Now, if there is something like, I'm going to do The Perks of Being a Wallflower, because I'm pretty sure I know where this is. When you do availability by location, if it is just in a general fiction area, it's just going to say YA fiction book. It'll just say adult fiction or YA fiction. It won't have that genre marker by it if it is in our general fiction. All right, I have a question for you. Since you all have used the library before, how many of you learned something new today? Okay, that tells me these are the right things to do whether you've already used the library or not, because there's always something new. Well, at least new to you. I will say all of our branches are different in terms of what they look like, what their priorities are. So while I'm not doing a tour at the other branches, I recommend visiting them. For example, the Simmons Library, we just celebrated the Simmons 125th anniversary, but in the entrance of the Simmons Library, there are names of World War I vets on the walls on the other side of the entrance. If you never visit and you never look, you might just never know. So as I mentioned, the staff are the most valuable part of the library. Always ask the staff, what could you tell me about this library? And that's whether you're in Kenosha or any library, you can always ask the staff, tell me something fun about your library. I actually encourage that for people, because whenever I go on a vacation somewhere, I always visit the public library just to take a look, just because I'm curious about how other libraries do it. Highly recommend doing that, because they'll always tell you there's something that staff member really likes and would love to show you. So feel free to do that, and ask different staff members. We all have different sections and areas that are our favorites, so you may find a few new things from them as well. But that's our tour for today. Thanks for coming.